Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I just read a few comments from some some individuals, and I'm thinking, man, some people just don't get it. I should work harder. Anyway, most of my friends obviously are understanding what's going on, and not only in Ukraine. Ukraine is just a symptom of the disease, and the disease is spread all around the world. Unfortunately, we have the same focal point of that disease. So let me read you this little article here and ask a few questions. Very interesting. Very interesting how Poland just got the answer in about what, a few hours, of whose missile entered its airspace a few days ago, and they already determined it was a Russian missile. So here is the article, and it's coming from the Kiev Independent. It is from January 2nd, 2024, and it says that Poland scrambles F-16s to defend airspace during Russian attacks on Ukraine. Okay, well, that's beautiful, but why do you guys scramble your F-16s to defend now, but not when the Ukrainian missile entered your airspace and killed 2 people? Well, you can say, well, it's because we defend any missile coming. Well, it's not so. Let me show you this little article here. Poland scrambled 2 pairs of F-16 fighter jets to protect Polish airspace during Russia's large-scale attack against Ukraine on January 2nd, the Polish Army's Operational Command reported. And now, a Russian missile entered Polish airspace from Ukrainian side of the border during a massive drone and missile attack on December 29th, prompting Poland to put its air defense on high alert. Question. Answer. How do you know it was Russian? All right. Why should I believe you? Why should I believe you? What if these F-16s are actually operating in Ukraine? Do you know if that's not so? I suspect that this is just a foot in the door for the Poles to be involved in a war without being hit, because that's how the courageous people do. They hit, but when you're about to hit them, oh, no, you can't do that. Only I can hit you. That's with these strong people in NATO. They like to hit, but never hit back. So they will defend their airspace. That's great. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. How did they determine it was a Russian missile again? In 12 hours? Remember how long it took Poland to determine and to come out and say, you know what, it was actually a Ukrainian, what was S-200, S-300, 200, I think it was, when it entered the territory of Poland and killed 2 people from Ukraine. Remember that one? I didn't hear any Polish foreign minister or whatever prime minister calling, or president calling the Ukrainian ambassador and, hey, what's going on? Next time we're gonna hit you back. Why was that? Because a bullet coming from a relative killing some of your loved ones is not a bullet. Anyway, my friends, I suspect that this, the scramble of the jets by the Polish, which it's within their right. They should do this. I would do the same thing every time the Russians are, launching a missile attack and drone attack. I will get whatever my air defense ready to defend my territory and people, 100%. But that would be in a, I would say, logical, normal society and world. We don't live in that kind of world. We live in a jungle. Supposedly we have some rules, but the rules are violated by the strong whenever it fits them or benefits them. When the other ones try to break the same rules, no. So I suspect that these fighter jets will be involved. And what if the Russians tomorrow tell us that actually those fighter jets, whenever Poland gets in the air, are actually involved? Would you believe the Russians? And then why not? Oh, the first answer should be, well, the Russians lied before. And the Poles never? Okay. So be more skeptical about these things, and I know some of us are. So let's look back this little article and read further. Poland, a NATO member, made a decision to mobilize fighter jets on the morning of January 2nd as Russian forces launched another large-scale aerial attack on Ukraine. In order to ensure the safety of Polish airspace, 2 pairs of F-16s fighters and an allied air tanker were activated. The operational command reported the jets were launched from bases in Lask and Krezinsk. No, it's not like that. Okay. Early on January 2nd, we would like to inform you that intensive long-range aviation activity of the Russian Federation is being observed, which is related to carrying out strikes on the territory of Ukraine, the announcement said. The January 2nd attacks against Ukraine targeted the country's largest city, Kiev and Kharkiv, killing 5 people. Poland did not report airspace violations during the January 2nd attack. The Polish government summoned, this is what I'm talking about, Russian chargé d'affaires Andrei Ordash for an explanation of the December 29th incident in which an aerial object, likely a Russian missile, entered Polish airspace for 3 minutes. So why do you summon the Russian chargé d'affaires if it's likely? Why? Why didn't you get someone else who could be likely, which is the Ukrainians? As of now, only the Ukrainians have 100% accuracy in entering and violating the Poles' airspace. I remember they said at one point, the Poles said that they found a missile somewhere in the woods and didn't even know how that missile got over there, remember? So I know about that incident as well. The only incident that caused victims, and I don't think whatsoever that that incident was just accidental, was when that missile from Ukraine defending the territory hit 2 people driving a truck on the street in a remote village in Poland. Do you believe that? I don't believe that was an accident. Why? Probabilities, my friends, probabilities. If that was to hit the exact moving truck by a missile falling down on a freaking remote road in a village with 12 houses, no, that's not coincidence. I mean, if you think of that coincidence, we would all win lotteries every other weekend, but we don't. So nevertheless, I didn't hear all this. Everything was like, oh, it's okay, it's the Poles, it's the Ukrainians, killing our people. But we're not going to scramble the fighter jets after that. According to Russian state media, Ordash, this is the Russian chargé d'affaires, said the Kremlin has no explanation to offer unless Poland provides, and I'm quoting, concrete evidence that it was in fact a Russian missile. Now, who's the logical now? Do you go and grab the most likely or the one who is guilty? Well, if you don't know, you don't know. You don't start pointing fingers and calling names by not being certain about things. Are you? I mean, if you do that, think that other people might do the same thing. Where are we going to end with this kind of mentality? Poland's Deputy Foreign Minister Władysław Teofil Bartoszewski told reporters that further border violations from Russia will be met. So, listen to this. You see what's here? Likely. So it was likely, not highly likely, it was likely. That's 51%. And he says this guy right here, based on likeliness, told reporters that further border violations from Russia. You haven't proven yet that that was Russian. He warns or let the Russians know that will be met with stronger reaction. But you haven't proven the first thing. Remember, it's just likely. So I think this is it's more than we know, obviously, and we have to be skeptical. The Poles, yes, defend your territory 100%. Will you get involved or are involved? Is this a foot in the door in using your pilots and fighter jets in Poland, in Ukraine? I am 98% certain that's a foot in the door. And remember, it's will be met with a stronger reaction. Like what exactly? Are you going to shoot down the missile? You're right, 100%. Are you going to do what? What exactly is the stronger reaction? Are you going to be yelling louder? It's based on likely, and the Russians are waiting for your evidence. And you didn't provide it yet. Again, this is not kosher, to use some of my friends' expression. All right? As I said, you got the right to defend yourself, but what's the stronger thing? You're going to invade, you're going to defend. I told you, and this is where they're going to end up. The Poles will eventually, and NATO countries will eventually get into Ukraine to defend and protect. They will be over there used as euphemistic, love-keeping armies or peacekeeping missions or something like this. They will be actively fighting over there, but they will be, euphemistically called various garbage terms. If they're not doing it right now, they do it overtly, covertly, but they will do it overtly under these kind of terms. And I should be concerned if I would be a Pole when I see that these guys, my leaders, are trying to challenge Russia. I know a lot of people in that region are itching for a fight with Russia because they think they can. All right, well, because they think, look at Ukraine. Ukraine is not fighting alone. All NATO is fighting against Russia. And your boys will be used as the Ukrainians' boys are used for those interests, telling you that to defend freedom, democracy, values, and all that. And advice to the Poles, be careful. I don't think the Russians will have the same patience with you versus their cousins or brothers, Ukrainians, because they know, and you guys know, the love is at the highest peak between you guys. So I don't think the Russians will go with a conventional bombardment. I think they will just drop a few things and say, fuck off, anybody moves. Anybody? And I guarantee you, your bosses from across the Atlantic, from Zimbabwe, they will say, okay, stop. Now things are getting too hot here, and we have more to lose than the Russians. All right, well, we'll see what does it mean, a stronger reaction to a likely incident. Unproven yet, and the Russians are waiting for the evidence. Remember, the Poles can say whatever, the Russians say whatever, and you and I will get the information from whom? How do we know that was a Russian missile? I mean, concretely, if some military, right, either is the Russian, the Ukrainian, or the Polish, or maybe some Americans tell us, oh, it was a Russian, and then why should we believe that? I mean, if you want, go ahead. I don't. I'm skeptical. Let's put it this way. I need more evidence than a statement coming from a official and with likely maybe boo ba bambi boo. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.